Good evening, Empire Oaks students. Thank you so much for joining me for Sunday Stories. So this is the last Sunday in March, and we're going to be wrapping up our series here of books about writing. And this one this evening is called Patches Lost and Found. And this one's a little bit different, but it also has to do with writing. So think about that as I read it. And think about what it means to you as an author and a writer, and it might give you some cool ideas for writing. So this is Patches Lost and Found by Stephen Kroll, and it's illustrated by Barry Gott, and I hope you enjoy it. And Bentley's joining us tonight. Rocky's not here today, so Bentley's here tonight. Okay. Let's see if he lets me get around his head here. Jenny loved to draw pictures. She drew pictures of Mom and herself on vacation. She drew pictures of her house and the street where they lived. She drew pictures of her pet guinea pig, Patches. She drew pictures of her school and her teacher, Mr. Griswold. One Monday, Mr. Griswold announced to the class, "Your assignment for next Monday is to write a story. You can work on it at school and at home." "Could I draw a picture instead?" Jenny asked. Mr. Griswold shook his head. "Not unless it goes with the words. Words first." All the way home on the school bus, Jenny tried to think of something to write about. Nothing came. Her mind was like an empty sack. Writing had always been hard for her. When she got home, Mom asked, "How was school?" "Not so good," said Jenny. "I have to write a story." "I want to hear more about it," said Mom. "But first, I have to tell you, Patches is missing. I went to feed him and his cage door was open." "Oh no," said Jenny, "my poor guinea pig." "Yes, let's look for him," Mom said. "He must be nearby." They looked under Jenny's bed and in her closet. They looked in Mom's room and all over the house. No Patches. "I have an idea," said Mom. "Why don't you make some posters? We'll put them up around the neighborhood." "Okay," said Jenny. She pulled out paper and crayons and drew a picture of a big white guinea pig. He had a black patch over one eye and another over his tail. Under the picture, she wrote Patches and Lost and her phone number. After dinner, Jenny and her mom put up the posters. But by bedtime, there was still no Patches. The next morning, he hadn't shown up either. "Where could he be?" Jenny asked at breakfast. "I'm sure he'll turn up," answered Mom. Jenny went back to her room. She sketched what could have happened to Patches. She drew him skittering out the back door, and then she drew him hiding under a bush in the garden. She taped the drawings to her wall. They hadn't looked in the garden. Maybe Patches was there. Jenny went out to check, but he wasn't under any bushes. At school, Jason and Allison asked Jenny, "Have you thought of a story yet?" "No," said Jenny miserably. "I haven't thought of anything." When Jenny got home that afternoon, she raced into her mom's office. "Sorry, Jenny, still no Patches," Mom said. Jenny pulled out paper and crayons. She drew more pictures about what could have happened. She drew a picture of a thief stealing Patches and running down the street. Then she drew another picture of the thief getting onto a motorcycle and riding away. She taped both pictures to the wall. Wednesday came and went. No word on Patches, and Jenny still didn't have an idea for her story. Any progress? Mr. Griswold asked. Jenny shook her head. At home that night, Jenny finished more drawings. She drew the thief carrying Patches onto a train. She drew a passenger on the train, spying the thief and calling the police. She hung both pictures on the wall. On Thursday, Jenny asked Mom if she could stay home from school. She hadn't thought of a story, and she hadn't found Patches. Okay, said Mom. You do look pale. Maybe a day of rest will do you good. Jenny stayed in her room. She drew a picture of the police setting out to capture the thief. She drew another of the police arresting him, and she taped both pictures to her wall. On Friday, Jenny really did feel sick. She had a sore throat and a cough. All day long, she drew more pictures. She drew the police taking the thief off to jail. She drew the police captain carrying Patches home to her and her family. She drew a picture of herself and her mom standing in their doorway, welcoming Patches home. She taped all 3 pictures to her wall. The next day was Saturday, and Jenny didn't have to worry about going to school. As she was finishing breakfast, someone knocked on the door. Mom went to open it. Hi, said Mr. Scooter from down the block. I think I have something for you. He blinked through his thick glasses. In his arms was Patches. Patches, Jenny shouted. Where did you find him, Mr. Scooter? Under a bush. I didn't see your posters until last night. By then, he'd nibbled my whole lawn, better than a lawnmower. Oh, my goodness, said Mom. Oh, thank goodness, said Jenny. She gave Patches a hug and a squeeze. Later that day, Mom came into Jenny's room. Jenny was cuddling Patches. So what are you going to write your story about? Jenny shrugged. I can't think of anything. Mom glanced up. Look at all of these pictures. They tell a wonderful story. All you have to do is add words to your pictures. Mom was right. Jenny found it was easy to add words now that she had done all the pictures. All right, so here's her story. Let me read it to you. It says, once upon a time, Patches escaped from his cage and ran outside. Outside was scary. Patches hid under a bush. A big, bad, mean old thief came and stole him. The thief stuck Patches in his pocket and rode away on his motorcycle. Squeak, squeak, cried Patches. Be quiet, yelled the big, bad, mean old thief. He jumped onto a train. Patches kept squeaking. The thief couldn't keep him quiet. A passenger saw them and called the police. The police, excuse me. The police leaped into their car and raced after the train. They climbed on board. Stick 'em up, they yelled as they arrested the big, bad, mean old thief. They drove him to jail and he confessed. The police captain took Patches back to Jenny and her family. They were so happy to see him. Welcome home, Patches. On Monday, Jenny brought her story, Patches Lost and Found, to school. She read it out loud to her class. Your story is great, said Allison. Congratulations, said Jason. Nice job, said Mr. Griswold. Words first, pictures second. No, said Jenny. Pictures first, words second. You mean you did all the pictures first? Said Mr. Griswold. Yes, said Jenny. Well, said Mr. Griswold, you've taught me something. I'd like to meet Patches. Why don't you bring him to school? And there's a picture of Jenny with her class and Patches that she brought to school. All right. So what did Jenny teach Mr. Griswold? That's right. She taught him that the writing process can look different for everybody, right? And so sometimes it might help some students to draw the pictures first and then write the story. So think about writing. The writing process doesn't have to be the same for everyone. Some of you might draw pictures first. Some of you might write first and then draw pictures. So think about it, get creative. Maybe write a story this week by drawing the pictures first. Try that out and see if it works for you. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I think Mr. Bentley might have fallen asleep here. He's so cozy. But I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow morning for the Monday morning message. All right, sweet dreams.